everyone. Good afternoon on this wonderful, lovely Sunday. It's your host of Thrift Stores and Coffee Shops, Ebony Cherie. Just wanted to tap in and say hello. It's a beautiful day in Washington State, and I'm just really soaking up the sun here. I had to do a few errands, and I went to brunch and got some lemon ricotta pancakes, and they were so good. Oh my God. Yeah, so it's a really lovely Sunday. My hair's growing out, which is great because the girl was going through some things with her hair a couple months ago, and that's good. That TGIN mask, shout out to thank God I'm natural. I'm using that mask with the castor oil. And I'm sorry about the wind if you can hear it. It's just such a beautiful day. I just wanted to leave the windows down. But yeah, shout out to that. It's growing out. Because when I had cut my hair, I did it myself. I thought that I had cut it a little too short on this side, and I did. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to need that part to grow out. And it has been, and it's been like 3 months. So, praise God. It's the little things that matter. But yeah, I wanted to come on here and I'm trying to drive and be safe at the same time. Just chat with you all as I usually do, serving up the VIP topics here. I'm the coffee bartender here at Thrift Stores and Coffee Shops. For those of you that are new, hey, how you doing? Glad to have you. All of the things. But I was just thinking about like social media and some of the things that have transpired in the last year. Just getting straight to it. And like all the things that we've like seen, like either in the news, on the news, and just some of the things that I just think about, some of the things that people have been so like just open to doing, all in the name of social media and to get attention. I'm not going to say the young lady's name, but I was thinking about the young lady that because you all should know who she is by now. If not, you can go Google what I'm talking about. How she basically faked a kidnapping, you know, and I was thinking about her while I was driving, and I was just like, what in that young lady's mind would just compel her just to do something like that? I don't know if I could even think up the courage to even do that. That's so like, if I were her parents, I was thinking about this. I was like, I would really be embarrassed. Like that would probably be one of the most embarrassing things that my child has ever done, that I would be really extremely embarrassed about. And one thing is parents usually can get through things and work through things with their children, but that's something that I just be like, girl, you national, and you did this. And I'm responsible for you, even though you're a grown adult, because people are going to be looking at me like, what did you raise? Like, I just said a prayer to myself and to the Lord. I was like, Lord, don't let my children ever do anything as unique as that. I was about to say stupid. I'm trying to watch my words. Because I would just be like, if you ever needed attention that bad, God can give you all the attention you deserve and all the attention that you need. Mama and daddy could never give you enough attention. If you need that much attention, like, go to your Father in heaven. He will douse you. He will like just make sure you have all the things you need, all the attention you need, everything you're seeking for, you can find it in him. Because I don't ever want you to ever feel like you have to fake, lie, steal, cheat in order to get something, or make a point or get a point across. I just feel like it was such an immature thing to do, and such an inconsiderate thing to do, and just like so much could have been done in that whole situation besides what that young lady did. And it just made me think of like what people literally will do for attention and for the sake of fame. And I don't know, I just feel like people take it way too far, and social media has just become this place where I feel like people just don't really think about the repercussions of some of the decisions that are made. And I think that young lady was just kind of an example of what happens when you really don't think about certain things and you do them, and it just really doesn't turn out too well. Like, it was funny because when I looked at the picture of the girl, when I first heard of what had happened, and it didn't come out that the story didn't add up and all that stuff. People hadn't been like really gathering receipts on it or anything yet. It was just something about her photo that struck me as something was off. But I still didn't really pay attention to it, you know how you can feel something and God gives you a discernment about somebody or something, but you really don't tap in. With that situation, I didn't think much of it. I wanted to even, I think before everything came out, kind of like needed to get a little bit more insight of the story because it didn't add up to me in the very beginning anyway. But I do remember like when I like really started to listen more to the story, I was kind of like, oh my God, like I kind of got a little bit more compassionate about it because the way that they were making it seem was just like, oh my gosh, this girl was stolen from somebody and all this stuff. Like, you know, when you listen to the media, which you shouldn't do, usually I don't, which is funny. When that situation came up, I kind of was like, okay, what's going on with this whole situation with this young lady? But I think I even cried because I was just like, God, it just made me feel like, what's going on? Why are people being taken? Why are people getting stolen? I thought about the children that are being trafficked. It was just yet another story about a person and then a person of color, you know, just being, you know, but I had to give it to the cops and everybody who like stepped in to actually even do what they did in regards to the young woman, even though she was crying wolf. You know what I mean? Like, you got to give it to them because they was all out there trying to find this girl. Like, if anybody has something to say about people wasn't being there for the people of color and the women of color, like, yo, that day they was there for that young lady. And came out that she totally lied, and it just made her look stupid. It made, I'm sure that investigation was just like, did we really just waste our time looking for this girl? Like, we could have been out here really trying to find some kids that were really missing. Like, you know, just a waste of time, hours, just, you know, phone calls, minutes, messages on the cell phones, just used up just for no reason. And it just shows me like the great lengths people would do for attention, for likes, for follows. Sometimes I'm just so like taken back by even some of the things that people do for likes and follows and the type of content that people produce. Like, sometimes I'm not even, I just don't understand why other people post other people's content. I really wish, one thing that I really wish is that YouTube would be a lot better about people's personal copywritten content, because if I post something, I'm not looking for you to repost. You need to ask permission first, because this is my content that I recorded with my camera. Like, and I don't want to see it on your page and you making some response video to what I'm talking about. Like, you didn't ask permission for that. So yeah, I would really put out a cease and desist order, because you don't know if I've copywritten my material. You don't. So it's kind of like people, the whole intellectual property thing, people aren't really thinking about either. It's like, nobody told you to repost this. I didn't ask you. You didn't ask me. So, you know, people will repost other people's children on their social media pages and be talking voice over it. I'm like, did you ask for that baby to be on your Instagram? I don't know if you're a predator and you posting about my child. I would have a problem with that. Like, you're not just gonna post my dog and repost my dog on a social media page and you didn't ask me. Like, that's a problem for me. You, my dog, my child, or my dog. You didn't ask me. Those pictures are my intellectual property. These are copyrighted materials. You don't know if I sent it to the Library of Congress while you reposting stuff. You didn't ask for my permission for that. And I feel like there's just not enough, like, you know, not enough, like, putting a demand on people in their content. Like, as far as like resharing, like, if you're somebody that's okay with people reposting your stuff because you feel like it'll get back to your page or whatever, and you want people to get more, you want to get more likes and follows or whatever for your, whatever, however you want to do it, then that's fine, whatever, if that works for you. But most of the time, what I've noticed, especially on platforms such as TikTok and even Instagram, is that usually the original person that posted the video doesn't always get as many likes and follows. It's always somebody that has a higher following or more content creation or bigger platform than the person that posted a video and they repost it, that usually gets the views and the likes and the follows and stuff, which is so unfair because the original content person doesn't really get the follows and the likes, because usually, it's probably a lower percentage of people that would actually go and re-click on the video a second time just to watch it again from the original creator if they've already seen the video. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's highly unlikely. Sometimes I will go to the original video of something that was really extremely funny, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who's the original person? Because 9 times out of 10 they have funny content, or they have some type of content that I may be interested in if they posted one video that went viral from another person. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it really is a marketing thing, and it's such a quick fast thing. You have to stay on top of everything, and sometimes with Instagram and social media platforms, it usually is very quick. It's a very, for lack of better words, instant gratification type of platform. It's like, you got my attention if you can get my attention in 30 seconds, you've got me. That's kind of how it is. Like, but I'm not going to give you another 30 seconds. Like, that's 60 seconds. Some people would rather scroll for a whole 2-3 hours looking at different content than going to the same content over and over and over again. I don't know how long it was that I spent time on one person's page. I have spent time on one person's page, but it probably wasn't more than like 5-10 minutes, unless they just had some really great content. And no, I did not watch that main lady who has been very hot right now about her story and what happened to her. I did not get on TikTok and I did not watch it. I heard it was like 50 episodes or something like that. But she became very popular as well. But she was telling her like real life story. So with her situation, I think it's a little different because she actually got picked up by a big brand that I think oversees major celebrities and stuff like that. So it's like, if it's a story that's being told, they need to go through the proper channels to retell the story and making sure that she gets what's due to her, which I feel like it's great, for her situation, because it's a real life testament and testimony about what happened and, all of the things. So all of that to say, I don't know how I got on social media platform. I feel like social media is such a blessing, and then it can be such such a detrimental. I don't want to call it a curse, but you know what I mean? Because it's you have to be careful. There's such a fine line, and then you have to draw boundaries, and you have to set standards in your own, like, what you want for it, and stick to it. And if you're a Christian, I say this with all due respect, we have to maintain a standard and be uncompromising. I try to be very careful about what I speak about on my podcast, because I don't want to be that person that's always talking about other people or, hot topics. I always call it hot topics, but I'm talking about things that are very popular, or maybe, something that has been brought up in the Christian community or in kingdom or gospel music industry. And it's something that I feel like God gave me perspective about it, and seeing to it what he says about it. Those type of things are being posted. But usually I try to post encouraging things, uplifting things that are, transparent, because I'm human. I'm a Christian, but yeah, I have a life that I've lived, and I've gone through things, and you go through things. So life is meant to be lived, but it's meant to be lived with wisdom, and it's meant to be lived with, just dedication to what it is that God is calling you to, and purpose. And I think what reaches people most is transparency and honesty. You don't have to be totally open about everything. You don't have to talk about your family on here. If you don't want to, you can. Some people do, in order to relate with people. But I think even in that regard, even with family bloggers, stuff like that, you just kind of have to be careful. I was watching a young lady. I didn't watch her YouTube. She's a Christian. I didn't watch her YouTube a lot, but I saw when she ended up getting engaged, and then eventually she got pregnant, which I thought was awesome. But I personally wouldn't do this, but what I noticed about when she made the announcement she got pregnant, what she said in her video of her announcing it was that she hadn't even told her husband yet. And I was like, so you mean that you're on social media talking to us about it, and you haven't told the man that you're married to? I've been like, girl, you need to get off social media and wait till you tell your husband before you come tell us. I think even in that regard, it's kind of like that's a boundary for me. Like, if I was married and I was a husband, I would be kind of upset that you ran to social media before you told me that you were having my baby. Like, I'd feel some type of way about that. Like, I feel like in that regard, even if it's something that's positive and it's a celebratory moment and it's something that we all should be rejoicing about, the way in which it happened, I'm just shocked that she actually thought that that was okay, that you would share something so intimate and so like with an audience before you would the person that you're intimate with. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that was like a red flag. Like, no, we don't do that. Like, that's cautionary. That's something that I would be upset if I was a husband. Now, if her husband was okay with that, then my opinion doesn't matter. But to me, I just feel like that's when you overstep the boundary where you share so much content and you're so used to it that you just get so used to talking to people about certain things that are just meant to be intimate. Like, you and your husband should make the announcement together, not just you. You know, even if it is your social media page. I didn't find that a good thing, honestly. And this person was a Christian, and I'm just like, there's just some things that just don't need to be shared with everybody all the time. Like, for content's sake, like, okay, just come on. Like, wait, even pray about that. Like, you know, just, no. That's where I just have to be like, that's drawing the line. I just didn't necessarily agree with that. I don't think everything should be shared. I don't think everything should be done in the name of social media. I think there just needs to be some planned out content and prayed over content before you post that content. And I think it's just important for us to really seek God about what it is that we're putting out there. And a lot of families are breaking up over social media. Social media has become the mistress in the family. I'm sorry. I've seen it happen over and over and over again, time and time again. A lot of people might say, well, social media didn't really break up our family, but you've been on here all the time. So there's something that you haven't been able to obtain while you're off of social media in your relationship, while you're showing everybody how great your relationship is, and it's sour and it's just raggedy, you know? Something's not giving, you know, in the background. Like, you know, so I just feel like social media is very great, but it could also be a very grave place for people. Now, if you have a great relationship with your spouse and you guys are able to do content and produce and you're able to have a real relationship even outside of that, then great. More power to you. But me, I personally don't think social media is a space for my future family. You know, if God's like, you can post a photo, then I'll post a photo. One thing about me is you don't catch me on social media often. Yes, I do have a page on there. It is Thrift Stores and Coffee Shops. Even that page is private. And it's been private since I joined social media. So there's that. Not everybody can be let in. And even though you're more than welcome to go and listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but I don't even let everybody on my Instagram page. There has been people from my past that have tried to add me, and I'm like, no. You might be cool, but there's that door chapter been closed, which I'm trying to come up in here. That might be another story for another day. But, you know, when people see you and want to think that, I'm like, I haven't talked to you in years. Where are you coming from? And it may be innocent on their end, but for me, that's a no. Closed door, no more open. So, in any case, I don't even know if this is wrapping up with any kind of motto or closing statement, but I think we just need to be careful and cautious about the content that we produce, especially being Christians. I think I've spoken about this on the podcast many a times. You know, I'm no exception to the rule. I think God wants all of us to produce content that is giving glory to Him, but also be careful about what we're sharing and not to share too much, okay? So, with that said, I thank you for all being connected and stay tuned to the next episode. God bless. Bye.